Hello, Dr. Mindy here, and welcome to another episode of Teaching Humanity Remotely. Today, I really want to discuss the topic of doubt and how draining and exhausting and wasteful it could be. And I just want to read this little saying. All the energy you expend in doubting yourself and finding reasons why it won't work could be spent exploring your potential and overcoming your limitations. It really is. I'm not reading this now. It's really time to flip the script on what you think isn't possible and start living with the attention of what is possible. So doubt to me is one of those emotions and the thinking processes that are just completely a waste of time. I get nothing for it except the ability to make myself not feel good. Doubt, guilt, and regret. There's nothing I can do by having regret. I can't change that. By having guilt, I can't change it. I can have the experience that I did something that did not serve me, and therefore I change my behavior and I don't do it again. That's where guilt and doubt and regret can be a reminder of service to me, that I don't dwell there. I see I did something, it did not serve me, and therefore I don't do it anymore. In that way, it was a really good lesson to have this guilt or to have this regret or to have this doubt. But if I live there, if I dwell in those negative places, then I stagnate and I paralyze myself. And I am always there because of fear, which is why I live with the idea that, again, there's only two real emotions: love, which is expansive, and fear, which is limiting. And all of the attributes that come from fear, such as self-loathing and doubt and regret and despair and guilt, they just keep me paralyzed. So in regard specifically to doubt, it's the opposite of what I want to teach all of us, which is that when I meet something that's challenging and my first reaction is, I can't do it, I need to remember that my commitment to myself is, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Because attitude is everything. And if I hinder myself by having the doubt that I can't, guess what? The hard task will only get that much harder and I will not be successful. But I've seen this over and over and over and over again in myself and in the children that I would be teaching for over 30 years, that if I held the space that I could and they could, we always would get to the mastery level. We always would, because I wouldn't get in the way and I wouldn't have the students get in their own way of their learning by having the thought that they couldn't do it. So that doubt just makes us spin our wheels. I'm putting the energy in the wrong place. Remember, we are what we think about, and we all have a limited amount of energy. So it is up to me to watch myself, to watch those bad habits that don't serve me anymore, habits of being that do not serve me. I need to start exercising that new muscle of seeing things in a new way. And when I see that my limited amount of energy is going to doubt, then I'm not going to be able to have enough energy to overcome that and succeed in the task that I'm working on. So I cannot, there's no reason to be the cause of my own suffering and certainly the cause of my own limitations by having self-doubt. So if I want to achieve something, I need to believe that I can, and I need to work with people who believe that I can. Now, there are some skills that we may know someone won't be able to accomplish. We're not going to have a 5-year-old become a surgeon when they're 6. We're not going to be mechanics when we're unable to know how to do that skill. There are some skills that are more in our skill set and that are less in our skill set. So it's up to all of us to be very clear about what we are capable of, what we can do, what we can't do, and then also being realistic. For example, I did not become a lawyer, but I could have been capable if I was interested in becoming a lawyer. That would have been something I could have been very successful at. I could have been a successful doctor. I wasn't interested in doing those two jobs, but I feel like I could have been successful. I'm not going to be successful being a mechanic. That's not something that I'd be successful at. I'm not a great driver, so anything that has to do with driving, I'm not good at. I don't have doubt. I just know it's not a skill that I'm good at, so I'm not going to pursue that. if we discuss being reflective and being honest about what we're good at, what we're not good at, then I need to be realistic and I need to be okay with knowing that I'm not good at certain things. So it's not about self-doubt. It's about that if I wanted to become accomplished, let's say as a basketball player, that's not something I'm good at. It's not doubt. It's just knowing that I have a limited skill set in that area. And I think it's okay for us to be realistic about it. So I'm talking about the kind of doubt where I'm making a commitment to do something. It's certainly within my reach, but it gets a little challenging on a particular day, and all of a sudden I waste all this energy being paralyzed by doubt. Or I'm in a relationship and I really feel like something's going on, and I make a commitment to myself that I'm going to be really honest. When we go out to dinner tonight, I'm going to be really honest. And then I start thinking, oh, maybe it's all in my head. I shouldn't say anything. And I have all this doubt, and I convince myself not to say anything. And then I feel really dissatisfied, and I feel really a kind of self-loathing for not having the ability to speak my mind, because I convinced myself to not trust my inner voice or to not believe in myself. So that's the kind of doubt I'm talking about. And so I really feel like as teachers, we need to encourage our students to always do their best, and when there's a limited amount of energy, to not have them have that negative voice in themselves that just takes away the possibility of learning new things and can only lead to not learning and a shutdown and a paralyzation. We need to really help them. You need to watch them so you can get the idea of what they're thinking, how they're seeing themselves, and then we need to move anything that is blocking them in their own thought and their habits of mind. If it's blocking them from learning something new, you need to be able to explain, we are what we think about. There's a limited amount of energy, and I really would like you to try to remember that we made a commitment that when we meet something that's challenging for us, if we think we can, we can. And then if you do your very best and you don't get to mastery, that's okay. That's okay. That's not cause for self-doubt. Once you try your best and you see, I'm really not that interested, but that you had follow through, that you made the commitment, that you saw it through, and you saw that you also had limitations, that's not necessarily self-doubt. Self-doubt that I'm talking about is the kind of thinking that gets in the way of possibility and makes you spin your wheels and waste time and waste so much energy because you can't get anything done if you think you can't. Then you become the cause of your own suffering and you get in the way of your own learning. So let's remember that. Let's really change the script, as was said earlier. Let's not waste our energy in self-doubt, finding reasons why it won't work, and really explore and pay attention to ways in which I will do my best and I will be successful and my efforts will work. Let's see if that really changes the results of the week if you have this different attitude adjustment and you use your energy well. Let's accept the fact that we all have limited energy. So I want to pay attention to that which serves me so that I could be of greatest service. Until next time, please feel free to visit me at learnwithmeremotely.com, and always feel free to go to my author's page, Dr. Mindy Shaw, Paperbacks at Amazon. Be well.